Hi everyone. Sorry, I was looking at the bamboo next to my house. I live in the jungle and bamboo is amazing. I'll probably edit out the sound of that, the creaking, but it's just so fluid. Can we go with the flow like bamboo? Strong and resilient, but at the same time flowing. Okay, hi. Welcome to Holistic Movement with me, Rob. And I forgot what week this is. I think it's 16. I'm not sure. It all gets scrambled together. So I thought we'd open up with releasing the mid back on a roller. Now, maybe you're, Rob, I don't have a roller. What? Pause the video, go buy one, and then come back. But anyway, jokes aside, if you don't have a roller right now, try to order one on Amazon or wherever and see if you can get a flat one because the one with the knobs are just, they're knobs, you knob. And we want a smooth one. You don't have to get one this long. Maybe you can get one about this wide. If you don't have one right now, just use some pillows because this is just the first stage of teaching you how to use a roller. And just more than anything, how can we get proprioception into this area? Okay, the thoracic spine, it's called the rib cage. So I've talked about it before, and a lot of neck problems and lower back problems, one of the reasons of the plethora, the cornucopia, could you say, of reasons behind the pain is that there's no mobility in the thoracic cage, okay? Mainly because the ribs go into the spinal cord, the rib cage, obviously, and so it's difficult sometimes to get that mobility, okay? More than anything, the breath helps. And Thomas Myers taught me this. Sorry, so it won't roll away, the roller. Think of the ribs. Here's the spine right here, okay? And the ribs go in like that. Now, breathing into the back of your rib cage can move the ribs like this. It's kind of a pump system. And what it can do is bring fluids into the spinal cord. Yes, just by the easy act of breathing into your rib cage. So see if you can do that now. Okay, it's fairly easy to breathe into your belly. Well, some people it's not, or into the chest. But see if you can breathe into your back right here. Meaning push your back with your breath. If you find that fairly difficult, that's why we're using this roller or some pillows. All we're going to do is just teach the brain that it's happening. Okay, so I'm going to place the roller right below my shoulder blades. And I'm going to cup my head with my hands. Ooh, and yes, I just closed some facet joints of the spine there, of the rib cage. And I'm just finding a point where, right below the shoulder blades, and all I'm doing is hanging out there. And I'm breathing into it. I'm holding my head with my hands, and there's no tension in my neck. I'm letting my hands absorb the weight of gravity and letting my head just drop into my hands. Okay, and I'm letting my elbows fall out to the side. And I'm just breathing into that spot. Now, if you've got some pillows underneath, awesome. You have more surface area. And stack those pillows up, even higher than this roller if you want. And then just lie there. And you can actually, if you want, you can, on the pillow, you can bring your arms up above you. Or you can just lay your arms at the side and just fall back like that. Okay. Now, if I bring the roller further down, I can actually do that and just let my head fall. But I'm going to support my head just a little bit. And I'm just going to let my legs lengthen. But if this is too much for you, bend the knees. And all we're doing is closing our eyes and sending our breath into that rib cage. Now, for someone like me, or maybe you out there who have a huge curvature in your rib cage from years of feeling sorry for yourself, like I did when I was younger, and of recently, Or even if you have a military back, straight back, this is actually really good for it anyway, because we're just telling the brain that this portion of the spine exists, and that's what we want. So when we bring mobility and our breath into the rib cage, then the three parts of the spine, well, there are four parts, well, five, sorry, the skull, the cervical spine, the thoracic, the lumbar, and the pelvis, then it can evenly distribute weight. Because when one part of the spine can't move, that means other parts of the spine, i.e. the cervical spine and the lumbar, the neck and the lower back, have to work overtime. And just breathe into that. Now, if you want to move the roller a little bit, you can, a few centimeters down to the next vertebrae, do that. If it's starting to become painful for you, stop at any time, okay? We're only going to stay for a few more breaths. And I'm just experimenting and moving the roller down just a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to bend my right knee. I'm going to roll over to my left-hand side. I'm going to use my right hand to push myself up. And I'm going to roll this roller away. And I'm going to lie my back. Hopefully you can do the same. And you can take the pillows away and then lie back. When that roller came back, just can't get enough of me. And now feel what's going on with your rib cage and how the rib cage is touching the floor. How is it? For me, I feel there is more surface area touching the floor of my rib cage, which I want, because then my brain registers it and says, oh, you exist. Now I can more easily distribute weight throughout the whole spine. Okay, let's bend our right knee, roll over to our left-hand side. Let's come on up. I thought since we just brought some proprioception into the rib cage, why don't we move up into the shoulders and try to neurologically connect the shoulder movement with the rib cage. So we're going to stand up, and I'm going to scoot back just a little bit. So hopefully I'm in frame. My head's in frame on both angles of the camera. And let me go into movement of the rib cage and the shoulders, how the shoulders accompany the rib cage movement. So normally what happens is when we go into flexion, the shoulders will go into internal rotation. It's very rare that we get this where we'll come into flexion and the shoulders will come back. It's virtually impossible, right? But in later episodes, we're going to go over an exercise that we can actually do the opposite of that. But anyway, so when we come into flexion, the shoulders round, right? The shoulders basically do what the rib cage wants them to do, wants it to do, okay? And so then when we come into extension with the rib cage, the shoulders ideally should come into external rotation. So that's all we're going to do. We're just going to feel the connection between that. And when you do slouch forward in front of a desk or wherever in a car, and you notice that, whoa, I'm in flexion, my shoulders are coming into internal rotation. Can I get my rib cage out of flexion? And then that will bring my shoulders out of that extreme internal rotation and hopefully into a more neutral position. Okay, so we're going to bring our arms out to the side. And if anytime your arms get tired, drop them. So what I'm going to do, and you notice my hands are kind of facing towards the camera, and I initiated the jazz hands. Any opportunity that I get to bring in jazz hands, I will do it, goddammit. Sorry, I just used goddammit. Sorry, but jazz hands is very important, people, okay? Get with the jazz hands movement. So we're going to come into flexion, and then my arms come into internal rotation. And then I come into extension, and my arms come into external rotation. And that's all we're doing. So we're inhaling, flexion, and then exhaling, external rotation of the shoulders. Now, can everything below the rib cage, can you tighten, meaning engage? The abdominal region, the butt, the glutes. So we're just moving from the rib cage. Now, usually when we come into flexion, Remember last episodes, few episodes before, the pelvis accompanied the rib cage normally. Yes, but we're shutting that off because we're differentiating here. Did I say that correctly? Differentiating, sorry. And we're coming into flexion, and I'll turn this way so you can see me here. Flexion, extension, flexion, extension, flexion, extension. And I can really feel the connection of where my rib cage meets my lower back. The fancy word for that is the thoracolumbar fascia. And I'll put a photo up there for you. Okay. The lats are the connection of the rib cage to the lower back down to the sacrum as well. So we're affecting that. Maybe you feel it in the lower back. I feel it in the lower back. Yep. Flexion. Extension. I'm going to turn back, face the camera there. Flexion. Extension. Now, what do you notice about the head? So when your rib cage comes into extension, your arms come into external rotation, your head comes up too, right? So it gets out, you get out of that head forward position, but then when you're in flexion, look at my head. I love the internet. I love it. I depend on it for so much. Screw human interaction. You smell that? Yeah, that's sarcasm in the air. Facetiousness. There we go. Okay, one more. This feels really good. This is kind of a standing cat position, actually. Okay, drop the arms. Let's lie on our backs. Let's rest here. Now, can you feel the rib cage and how it's touching the floor? And I feel a lot more surface area than I did when we started out. I don't know about you. Now, can you send your breath into the back of the rib cage and kind of push the back of the rib cage into the floor when you inhale? It's liberating, isn't it? Do you feel liberated? I feel liberated. And jokes aside, freedom. That's what we crave, right? Freedom from the constraints of society and the expectations. Freedom to move, mobility. When we create that space, there's a sense of, yes, spaciousness. Expanding ourselves, expanding out of our, I was going to use the word cage, but it kind of is sometimes, isn't it? Keep resting here. Okay, let's bend our right knee. And we're going to roll over to our left-hand side. We're going to come on up. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the next position. This next position is a twist, but I call it a functional movement twist. And I took this from Gray Cook, and he took it from one of his friends named Brett, and they called it the pretzel Brett. Hopefully one day someone will name a position after me called the Robsicle. Block. Grab a block. If you don't have a block, grab some pillows. If you don't have a pillow or pillows, grab a small animal, maybe a muskrat or a ferret or a civet. Don't grab a civet, they cause SARS. Or maybe a chihuahua. Anyway, we're going to lie on our left side. Okay, so my left arm is out to the side. Sorry about that. I'm going to bring my right leg forward. My left leg is behind me, my thigh in line with my belly, and both legs are about 90 degrees. It's kind of a half swastika, the Thai swastika, the Buddhist swastika, not the Nazi one. So I'm going to place this left hand on the outside of my right thigh. I'm going to rest my head here. I'm going to move the block a little bit further back, and you'll see why in a second. Now, I'm going to grab my left ankle. If you cannot grab your left ankle, grab the foot. If you can't grab the foot, grab the toe. If you can't grab the toe, grab a strap or a towel and place it around that ankle. If that hurts too, if it hurts your knees, don't grab. Just drop this arm behind you, and I'll show you the full position in a second. But I'm going to come a little bit forward so you can see me in a second in an alternate position. Now, I'm going to grab these legs, and then I'm going to exert pressure with my legs. My legs are going to try to exert force downward to pull away from the hands. But my hands are going to say, "Nuh-uh, you ain't going anywhere." And so they're going to pull upward, the legs upward. So we got two polar pulls, polar opposites. We got the downward pull of the legs, but then we got the upward pull of the arms. And then I'm going to tighten my left butt cheek, and then I'm going to rotate my rib cage to my right as I'm exerting force with my legs downward and pulling my legs upward. And then I'm going to breathe into the sides of my rib cage, especially my right one. Now, if you want to turn the head, you can, but if it hurts and it tweaks your right neck, don't twist, don't rotate the neck. Did you hear the emphatic nature of don't? And then breathe into that. Now let your body fall as you're still exerting pressure with your legs downward and pulling upward with your arms. Okay? Good. Now, stay there, but if you want to take a look up at the YouTube, I'm going to show you from this angle, so you can kind of see it from this angle, and I'll show you the alternate position in a second. So, I'm going to let go of my back ankle, the left ankle, and I'm going to bring my, kick that. Sorry, I'm going to come up a little bit higher, okay? And I'm going to drop that arm out to the side. Now, if you want, you can straighten this left leg and bring the foot into dorsiflexion. Remember dorsiflexion? That's toes to the nose. And so I'm opening this right chest upward, and my rib cage is rotating to the right, but my pelvis is rotating to the left. And then I just breathe all into my right pecs. Now, watch this. If I bring my palm downward like that, but kind of almost lock my arm, I can actually pull on the fibers of my pecs. And when they attach, and they do attach, I shouldn't say when, they attach to your sternum. So if you gently just place your left fingers on your sternum, where the pecs meet the sternum, the ribs insert into the sternum, you can feel those fibers move. This is called the superficial front arm line of anatomy trains terminology. Yep. And so that's why if you have tension in your hands, it can pull on your chest and your pecs, which will pull your shoulders into internal rotation and which will affect the back of your neck. Yes, folks. The front affects the back. Okay, so I'm going to lie on my back and rest here for a tick. And then notice what you feel here. I feel a huge difference between the right side of my body and my left side of my body. It's like the whole right side of my body, there's way more surface area touching the floor than my left. It feels like I'm lopsided. But what about you? Maybe you feel sensations in your knees, in your chest. I don't know. Observe it with your eyes closed. Your eyes better be closed. Don't go opening those eyes. Okay, we're going to switch to the other side. I'm going to undo my mic here, and I'm going to place the block. I'll show you from this angle to start out with. So I'm placing the right side of my head, my face, right on the block. I'm bringing my right arm out to the side here. My right leg behind me. My right thigh is in line with my chest, and I'm grabbing that back ankle, that right ankle. I'm placing my right hand on the outside of my left thigh. And before I rotate, I'm going to exert pressure with my legs downward towards that wall, away from my head. But then I'm pulling my arms, pulling my legs, my arms, my hands are pulling my arms, or pulling my legs upward as I'm saying, "Nuh-uh, you ain't doing that, you ain't pulling me up." And then I rotate my chest to the left. And I'm engaging my right butt cheek. And then this left chest is opening up so much. Yeah. Okay. Now, remember, if you want to get fancy, you can drop this back ankle, open this left arm behind you, and it's way more difficult for me to rotate this way than it was the other way. What about you? Now, if you want, you can straighten this left leg. I didn't bring that up last time. And you can place this right hand on the outside of this thigh. And then I'm just gonna, if you want, remember, you can bring this palm behind you with the left arm straight. And if you want to feel how that influences your chest, you can place your fingertips right there and feel those pec fibers move. Okay? And you can bring the right foot into dorsiflexion. You can try to straighten this leg. If this hurts too much, keep the knee bent. Okay? And then watch this. I can bring this left arm up high, or I can bring it low. Where do you feel the most impact and stretch when you bring that arm up or down? Find that angle for you that where you feel like, okay, this is the angle where I get the most stretch. Right here in the pec, the anterior deltoid, the upper fibers of the pecs, even the pec minor up here is stretching. And then can you breathe into the sides of your rib cage? And then I'm going to slowly lie back. Take the block away. Rest here for a second. And then I'm going to lie right here as I move this mic. I'm going to move this block. I'm going to tuck the chin under. And then what do you notice here after you lie down? How's the left side of your body now? Do you feel like there's more surface area touching the floor? That sweeping sound, I think, is my neighbor. Sweeping away of the dust. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Okay, now, can you let your body just fall and breathe into this? And feel, hopefully, now the connectedness of the left side and the right side of the body. You felt the separateness and the differentiation. Now, can you bring them together and feel whole? And with that wholeness, let the body fall. And I'll see you next week. Hang loose. Literally, hang loose.